Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, in honor of the fact that I was originally going to do a naval-themed month of March, I decided to do a first look of the game Flashpoint South China Sea. This is designed by Harold Buchanan, graphics by Terry Leeds, and is published by GMT Games. And I'm going to try to do a playthrough of this before the end of the month, but I figured I would throw this in the theme, this being probably more of a naval-focused game with the South China Sea right in the title. So let's take a look at this. This should be a relatively short video, and we'll take a look at this, and then that'll set up a gameplay later on. I am still planning on playing some naval stuff. Obviously, the Hunters is going on right now, and I will have some other things, including something from Great War at Sea, probably Jutland, and perhaps something else from that series as well as maybe some other things too. So here's the back of the box. As you can see, this is a relatively low complexity game. It does have a solo mode. It's got a full solitaire system. It can be a 1 or 2 player game. Plays in a relatively short 30 to 60 minutes. This is supposedly the first game in a series, Flashpoint Series Volume 1. So we'll see if anything else comes down the pike here with this one. But it says Flashpoint South China Sea is a 2-player strategy game that simulates the complex geopolitical competition currently taking place between the United States and China in a disputed region of the South China Sea. So it's a card-driven game, and as it says, it pits the United States and China in their competition in this particular area of the globe. So I'm going to pause here. We'll open up the box, see what's inside, and take it on from there. Okay, let's open the box. Shrink wrap is off. Okay, so we have a two-player rules of play. And it looks like it runs 11 pages. And indeed it does. And as I said, this is a relatively, as it says on the very box, that this is a very low, relatively low complexity game. So our components will be 16 red cubes, 16 blue cubes, both wooden, 3 black wooden cubes, a mounted game board, 17 by 22, the 2-player rules of play, which I'm holding in my hand, playbook, 2-player aids, 48 event cards, 7 scoring cards, and then for the solo game components that aren't used in the 2-player game, the solo rules, a solo player aid, and 8 solo cards. And then you have an image right there, basically, of all the aforementioned elements. So just looking through these rules real quick, you have important terms and concepts, setup. Look at the board here. Gameplay, so a sequence of actions each campaign, playing event cards. We have a nice B-1 bomber there. Influence, tension track, operations, and scoring cards, and scoring and victory, and then some interesting stuff via QR code. So that is the 2-player rules. Here is our playbook, with a dedication, some designer notes, developer and solo design notes by Jason Carr. Some information on the cards. So each card has a description. That's kind of cool. Strategy tips, the timeline of the dispute in the South China Sea, and the state of crisis, setting the stage for Flashpoint South China Sea. And then on the back, you have the event card distribution by type and which side or neutral. Then we have the solo rules, which are a little bit thicker. They have 19 pages here. So same thing, rundown of the components, your important terms. A lot of this is going to be relatively similar, I would think. Setup, gameplay, your turn. Yep, very somewhat similar here in layout, scoring cards. So this is where the 2-player game rules would end, at the scoring cards. Then you have your solo opponent's turn, and it describes how the solo bot plays for the other side. And there you go. Relatively straightforward. Here's our solitaire play aid with the U.S. opponent and a China opponent, so you are able to play as either side. Here's a player aid for operations cost and the sequence of actions. We have 2 of those, as you might expect. And here's our game board. So let's take a look at this. 17 by 22, not particularly large. Here, I'll just slide it down so you can see the top half here. So you can see you've got a box for both China and the United States, various areas, including the Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia. And then down at the bottom, you have your tracks for victory points. And campaign and attention track up here. All right. That's the map. Here are our wooden cubes. And some black markers as outlined. And our deck of cards. So let's take a look at the cards. Okay. So we've got solo cards here right at the top. 8 of them, I think is what it said. And so you have various actions on here. I have not read the rules yet, but we're just kind of taking a look at the cards. So this would be a solo card. Okay. Then we have our scoring cards. And there are several of those. And this would be a score Brunei. Compare all cubes in Brunei. The side with a positive differential scores it as victory points not exceeding 1. Okay. Event cards, lots and lots of event cards. So let's take a look at an event card. Let's just go middle of the deck here. So here we have Duterte under pressure to stand up to Beijing. Move 2 Chinese influence from Philippines to available and move 1 Chinese PW to available and increase tension. It's related to the Philippines. You can see you have some Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, economics. Yep. So they are in order, starting at card 1, which is the Vietnam card, and going through 48, which is the U.S. announces formal review of Taiwan Relations Act. So there you have the contents of this particular game. And as I said, I am going to endeavor to get this played by the end of the month. That is another item for my to-do list. So we will see if I can pull that off or not as we put this away. So as I do put this away, I would like to say thank you for watching. If you would like to ask questions, have comments, please feel free to post them. I'll do my best to reply. As always, if you would consider liking, sharing, or subscribing to help support the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. But either way, I hope you enjoyed the video and will consider coming back and checking out something in the future. That will do it for now. As always, my name's Joe. This is the Hexed Encounter channel, and until next time, happy gaming.